Sexual assault is an accumulating problem that is currently growing over the nation as we speak. It is not only a problem in many adult lives, but for years has been a problem for many young teens and children. Sexual assault is a gruesome attack that causes people to lose jobs, kill themselves, have mental breakdowns, and sometimes give up on people that's closer to them. Sexual assault breaks barriers of trust and invades the personal space of any individual that's labeled as a victim. Within this video, the specific foundations of sexual assault will be discussed, why it's wrong, who may attempt to make sense out of it, and what can be done to prevent it from happening more often. This video is created to enrich the minds of both victims and non-victims of sexual assault. We are addressing the reality of what sexual assault is. Before speaking on how people react on sexual assault, we need to educate you on what it is. Sexual assault is simply invading someone's personal space in a sexual manner without consent. Some form of sexual assault is rape or forcing someone to do sexual acts such as oral sex or unwanted touching. Now that we have educated you on what some of the foundations of sexual assault is, let's have a look at what goes on through the minds of victims after being attacked.
When I opened my eyes, I was alone in the hot tub with him, and the way he looked at me, there was something in his eyes, and I was afraid.
I wanted to slow down, but he told me not to be a tease. And he pushed me down on the couch and said he was glad I had waited for him. And then he pulled off my jeans and then my underwear.
And he said that if I showed my body better, people wouldn't think I was a lesbian. He used a different word, and then he grabbed me on the inside of my thigh.
At that moment, we were left alone, and he picked me up. He just picked me up and carried me behind the fence. And he lay down on top of me and started to take my pants off. I fought, and I fought, but he was 18, and I was 12.
I found out later this guard had a reputation. When he got up from my bed and left, my roommate rolled over and told me it happened to most of the girls.
I was a second-year associate. He invited me to a strategy meeting in his hotel room. He answered the door in his bathrobe. I spent the evening insisting we work on the case. At the end of that year, I was let go.
I had been babysitting for this family for, I guess, 2 years. He was my youth pastor.
My second cousin.
Your Honor, when we leave this courtroom, Bryce Walker gets to leave, convinced that he chose the wrong girl to have sex with. I get to leave, constantly looking over my shoulder for monsters dressed up as the popular kid. Constantly on edge and assuming the worst in every boy.
This video represents a small portion of what many victims feel after being raped and sexually harassed. It shows what women who have been labeled as victims think about every time they have to walk past another man. It lifts the idea that women need to be on edge, wondering if the next man she meets is going to be her friend or another attacker who's out to sexually assault her. Sexual assault is a topic that many people won't talk about, merely because they choose to side with the victim or keep quiet because they know too much about the attacker. While most people choose to side with the victim, there are those who try to make sense of the situation. There are people who choose to say, look at how she's dressed, she wanted, or small acts of man being a man isn't sexual assault, it's having a good time. Most people categorize these few individuals as part of the she asked for it culture. It's not simply a form of support against victims, but is simply used as self-defense mechanisms in many sexual assault cases. Sexual assault is a topic that most people feel is wrong and shouldn't be tolerated under any circumstances. Unfortunately, there are predators and people accused who will do anything to make what they did sound okay. Their mission is to make what they have done sound like an everyday thing by, again, stating wrong place, wrong time, or she asked for it.
Of Brock Turner meant the former Stanford University swimmer walked free after spending just 3 months in county jail for sexually assaulting an unconscious woman. In court, Turner heard the words of his victim, a powerful statement that was widely shared on social media. "You took away my worth, my privacy, my confidence," she told Turner. "I don't want my body anymore."
Altered forever by the events of January 17th and 18th, he will never be his happy-go-lucky self with that easygoing personality and welcoming smile. Now he barely consumes any food and eats only to exist. Those verdicts have broken and shattered him and our family in so many ways. His life will never be the one that he dreamed about and worked so hard to achieve. That is a steep price to pay for 20 minutes of action.
The Rape, Abuse, or Incest National Network, or RAIN, indicates that many victims know their rapist. In fact, most of these attackers are perpetrated by someone familiar. The RAIN study shows that approximately 38% of rape incidents are committed by a friend or acquaintance of the victim. Unfortunately, many victims fail to report sexual assault for a variety of reasons, such as shame or embarrassment, or they feel that it was their fault, or they have fear of blame, they have the fear of judgment from society. They also have fear of retaliation. The idea that it's not that serious, they desire to suppress the traumatic act or memory, or they distrust the authorities. Being that people tend to reason with sexual assault and defending sexual predators lifts the question, why is sexual assault happening? Why are individuals constantly being attacked and it's being overlooked or excused as a minor incident? It manipulates the respect for a woman, a trying mother, a sister, or simply an unknown female or individual.
And since we all came from a woman, got our name from a woman, and I came from a woman. I wonder why we take from our women, why we rape our women, do we hate our women? I think it's time to kill for our women, time to heal our women, be real to our women.
In the article, situational context and risk factors associated with incapacitated and non-incapacitated sexual assault among college women, retrieved from the Department of Youth in 2019, it provided us with the database in New York between two colleges. This database provided the amount of women who were sexually assaulted while under the influence and the amount of women who were sexually assaulted while not under the influence. It also provided us with facts that described why people may try to make sense out of sexual assault, and also provided me with information on what people feel, how they act, how they respond after being sexually assaulted. The article also shows why women are taken advantage of while under the influence. Why are women taken advantage of while under the influence? Most people feel that taking advantage of someone while under the influence is simply an easy target. Most people feel that taking advantage of someone under the influence is simply having fun. They feel that if they're under the influence, they have no reason to say no. They have no reason to fight back. They have no reason but to lay there and take it. Sexual assault is something that is taken seriously, but the attackers don't see it that way. They think it's okay. They feel that sexual assault is something that is normal. The question that has risen after this article was published was, if people feel a certain way about sexual assault, then what do the people feel who haven't been caught? Do they feel like they can continue to do it? Do they feel like they need to do it to get by? Do they feel like they need to do it to insert their dominance? What are factors of sexual assault? After providing you with all this information, you may have lifted the question, what can I do to keep safe or to keep myself from being sexually assaulted? While there is no sure thought that you can't be sexually assaulted, there are safety precautions to keep in mind as a student, a coworker, or just an individual. Sexual assault is a traumatic form of violence like no other. Survivors should always do what they can do to stay safe and preserve physical evidence for the police. Most people ask, what should I do if I've been sexually assaulted? Well, here's some tips that can help. Consider using escort services such as Uber, Lyft, things like that. That way, everywhere you've been, whatever vehicle you've been in will be tracked. They'll always know where you are by knowing where you're going. Review your social media privacy settings. Stalkers are out there more easily now with people being so openly available to be located through social media. Consider making your profile private and don't tag locations to photos you post online until you're no longer at that location. This way, people won't know where you are and won't be able to locate you or threaten you. Lastly, here's something that can help you with self-defense while you're out. 63% of the time, people are always on their phone, so here is something that can help you while you're out. Apps. Here's a list of numerous apps that can help you while you're out on the road. That way, you can notify people where you are, you can contact the police without physically having to be on the phone, or you can just simply let people know the route that you're taking, so that way they'll be able to assist you in the case that you go missing or you become a sexual assault victim. Like I said, you'll know where you've been, but I know where you're going. Finally, keep on hand a whistle or pepper spray. If you're going to be in a dangerous situation, you definitely need the means to fight off an assailant. A whistle will be a great way for getting the attention of others and calling for help, while pepper spray comes in handy if you don't necessarily have self-defense skills. If it's your first time using pepper spray, familiarize yourself with it in an open area with no people around to make sure it's properly used. Keep your friends and family posted. If you're away from home, it's always a good idea to let your friends and family know where you are and where you will be. This way, they won't worry that you won't go missing unwillingly. Look into self-defense classes. Self-defense is not only a good practice for your health, but it also is a great way to protect yourself when needed. It trains people of awareness. Self-defense classes can be taken at your local recreational or community center or YMCA. Get immediate attention. Go to a college clinic, urgent care, emergency room, and ask for a nurse or a SANE, sexual assault nurse examiner. They will provide you with the proper examination and care for you as a victim. Now that I've educated you with ways on dealing with sexual assault, here's a quick video that will hopefully help you deal with the healing process of what sexual assault is. Thank you.
And put his hand over my mouth and kept going shut the fuck up, shut the fuck up. And he pulled my pants down. And I think my body went numb.
I was wearing a floor-length skirt, a Tampa Bay Buccaneers t-shirt, and an olive green hooded sweatshirt and a pair of Puma sneakers when I was raped on my dorm room floor.
Around the age of 5, that's when I began to experience sexual assault.
And this guy I was looking at throughout the night came and offered me a drink.
And he was about 14, 15 years old.
The next thing I remember was being on this mattress.
And as I went to open the front door of my car, he put his hand on it and said, "Stop," and then grabbed me by the back of the shirt and pulled me into the back seat.
That's when he just took the icing off the cake and raped me as a child.
And he kept on telling me how much I liked it and how much I enjoyed it.
I just remember sitting in the shower for 4 hours, just trying to get clean.
It took me years to forgive myself and tell myself that I did not let that happen.
Girls, boys are killing themselves.
And so we have to dispel the myth that this is a gender issue. This is a power issue.
It's a type of violence that gets in and destroys you slowly.
I didn't even think that I was lovable anymore. I'm dirty. Why would you want to be with me? I've been discarded.
There was a point in my life when the grief was just too much. I started the act of trying to hang myself, and to hear myself choking, I couldn't get past it.
I don't want a pity party this happened to me, but I got through it.
I got into therapy. I have a therapist. I'm in group therapy. It's still really, really, really hard.
It's something that has defined me as a woman today, and it will continue to define me, but in all of the amazing ways, none of the negative ways.
I want to make it very clear that every single survivor's story is different, and for me, I don't deal with this on a daily basis.
Sexual assault takes years, if not a lifetime, to heal from.
It is possible to heal. We have to do it on our own terms. It's going to look different for everyone.
Don't be scared to say, I need help.
With us all together as one, we can change this.
I don't even know. No one asked for this, and it sucks that this happens. But we can all do better.